And we are live. Welcome to the USA Playbook Podcast. I'm Munsbe Halite, and I'll be your host. In 2016, I graduated from the University of Nigeria with a dream of studying in the USA, but I had little money. Fast forward a few years, I've gotten 4 scholarships, and I'm currently doing a fully funded PhD in the state of Georgia. Here, we only see possibilities. We're in pursuit of getting scholarships so we can relocate to the USA to experience better opportunities for ourselves and our families. So come with me and other international students as we tell you the secrets and hold nothing back. Every week, we talk about scholarships, getting visas, getting jobs, and even the ultimate goal of getting a green card. We are here to help you relocate and thrive in the USA, a land of opportunities. This is the USA Playbook Podcast. Joining me today is Blessing, a PhD student at Clemson University. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. As you're joining, you can let us know in the chat where you're watching from. All right, so to start things off, please introduce yourself, Blessing. Let's get to know your full name, the country you're originally from, what you're currently doing, and which states are you at the moment?
So as you said, thanks for the introduction. And first off, I would say kudos for the work you do. Because when I look back, I didn't have access to stuff like these. And I think if I had access to these things, probably my journey would have been a bit smoother, if I would say. But so thank you. And I have a friend who also, shout out to Fred. Fred also does stuff like this. Shout out to Fred.
Yeah.
My name is Blessing Torsu, as you said earlier. I'm a Ghanaian. I graduated from University of Cape Coast in 2017 for my bachelor's in mathematics with business. I moved to the States about 4 to 5 years ago to pursue a master's degree here. I'm currently in South Carolina in Clemson University. That's a bit about me. Probably as we go further, probably would talk more into it. So that's a bit about me. So
yes, Ariel, thank you so much. Just to ask, is University of Cape Coast a popular university in Ghana? Because the person that came on last week, she was also from the University of Cape Coast.
So it's UCC for short. You could call it University of Cape Coast. Some call it University of Constant Confusion. Some call it University of Competitive Choice. It's a prestigious university back home. It's popular. It's part of the 3 main universities in the country. So yeah, it's super popular. Yeah.
Just curiosity's sake, what are the other 2 main universities?
As they always say, the premium university, University of Ghana, Legon, and then Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. These are the 3 main, I'll add Winnipeg to it and say probably 4 main universities.
Okay.
Then, there are others too, but yeah.
Okay, Kwame Nkrumah. When I was in Ghana in 2005, I went on excursion secondary school with my classmates. Yeah, we went to Kwame Nkrumah. So nice. I remember that one.
So now a lot has been diversified, but back in the day, if you were looking to get into, say, business, you were looking to get into, say, other stuff, administrative stuff like that, finance, accounting, economics, all those things, you're likely to go to Legon. If you were looking to do engineering stuff, you are most likely to go to tech. If you were looking into doing, say, education stuff, you were most likely to go to where I went to, University of Cape Coast. But now, most of the schools have diversified. Everybody does, everybody does. So, yeah, you can go anywhere for anything. But during my dad's time, it was much more specialized in a way. So you went to the school that actually suited what you wanted to do and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. So just going back to Cape Coast, you said you studied a bachelor's in mathematics?
Maths with business, yeah.
Okay, maths and business. Okay, and I'm guessing that this is your highest degree that you had before coming over to the US.
So I would say yes, because I didn't finish. I started a master's degree in Ghana, but I didn't finish and I left. So I wouldn't call it. Yeah. So yeah, my highest degree would be a bachelor's degree before I moved here. But I started a master's program in finance before I moved to the States.
Okay, okay. So you were already making some form of transition. Anyways, let's talk about your US plans. What ignited the passion, the interest to study in the USA?
So I there is this notion back home that when you study math, all you want to do is teach, right?
Yeah,
It's
studied math.
hilarious.
I
Like
understand.
all you do is you want to be if you say you want to study math, they're like, oh, you want to be a teacher. And mind you, my dad is a teacher, my mom is a teacher, my elder sister is a teacher, my
Wow,
second elder sister is a teacher,
wow.
my elder brother is a teacher. It's like I come from a family of teachers, so I just didn't like the idea of, like, oh, you are going to school, you become a teacher. And mind you, I was going to UCC too, so it's like, oh, so he will become a teacher. I didn't like the idea of, like, when I was done with school, I'll be a teacher. Not that I despise the profession, but I felt it was too common in my household that I wanted to kind of diversify. So when I was done with my undergraduate degree, I had a chance to do a national service with School for Development Studies as a research and teaching assistant. Now, during that period, uh, I was in an office with one other TA who's his name is Emil Agbemade. He's shout outs to Emil. Emil is currently finishing his PhD in University of Central Florida in big data analytics. So yeah,
Wow.
so
Shout
it
out.
was yeah, shout out to Emil. So it was through Emil that I was like, we finished UCC, doing service. And back in the day, when I mean, I'm saying back in the day as if it is 30 years ago. When I was in school, the idea of traveling abroad wasn't like a commonplace.
Mm.
You only saw people who had like the upper echelon of good students, like the first class people. They were the only people traveling. So me in my head, I'm not first. I didn't even want to even worry and go and apply, come and get broken heart, and then now you be. I didn't want that. So it wasn't part of my immediate plans to travel to the US whatsoever. But I had in mind to do a master's. I don't know if you've heard of Ames Ghana before. So
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
good. So I wanted to do Ames because I loved math and I loved statistics, but I didn't like the business part of what I was doing, because in my head, when I was applying to my undergraduate program, I thought I'll come and do finance, accounting. Those finance classes and accounting classes, I didn't do much of them, but I did more of reading classes, and it was weighing me down. Like I couldn't. So I just wanted to leave and go do something purely math or something purely statistics. So I wasn't still thinking about these American stuff. Then um, Emil, one time we were supposed to go for this data collection as part of our responsibilities as research assistants, and he said he can't go. I'm like, why can't you go? He said he's going to write a certain exam called GRE. Look at the time I heard about GRE. I heard about GRE almost a year after I was done with the university. That's when I heard the first time I heard the word GRE.
Wow.
That was the first time I ever heard of GRE. I never knew what GRE was.
Hmm.
Mind you, I told you it's very scarce. The information relay was very scarce, so you don't
Yes,
even know.
yes. And
So
what
you
did
don't even know.
you finish? Sorry.
Say that again.
Wait, what year did you finish your first degree?
2017.
Okay, okay, yeah. It was
Yeah.
really very scarce that time.
So so I was like, waiting be this GR call you are going to write. He's like, oh, it's what exam that you write if you want scholarship to go and study abroad. I'm like, okay, oh, now you won't go abroad. I know me. I wasn't thinking about going anywhere, because I didn't. No, abroad it was like the it wasn't mere
You
sightseeing. It was
thought
more.
about, yeah,
Never
not for
thought
people
about.
like me.
No, no, no. I never thought about it. So it was um when he finished writing the exams, and then one time during 2018. So I heard about the GRE thing in 2018. Actually, like, okay, no, December 2017, January 2018 ish. That period, that was when I heard about it. So we finished this national service around August, I think. So in
Okay.
July thereabout, he came to me. It's like, blessing, we got talk. Oh. I'm like, Baba, how far? Let's talk. And we were talking, and he's like, oh, he wants to tell me that he's he's leaving to the US. I'm like, Baba, hold on.
Ooh, oh boy.
Like, Baba, we are going to reach in US. What are you going to do in the US? He's like, I'm going to study. I was like, okay, but if you're going to study, wait, is it because of that exam you told me you wrote back in the when we had that conversation? He said yes, and he said even that exam I didn't even do well, so he just submitted, but by God's grace he got it. I was like, then it piqued my interest like this. I was like, no. I sat in the same office with Emil. Emil is a very good friend of mine, even up to date. Like just 2 weeks ago, we were on the phone, and if he is telling me this and he was able to do it, bro, I could literally also do it. But even though I had some doubts, like I for some weird reason, I kept on telling myself, no, if he's done it, why not me? Why am I? I'm not that bad too. So let me also give this in a try. And he himself was initially actually he pressured me into thinking about this seriously.
Okay.
I wasn't when he told me he was going, I was super happy for him, super duper happy for him. But like I wasn't picked like that. Then he's like, nah, you also have to do it. I'm leaving. So I'm going to he's like, I'm going to create a good name in that school so that when you apply, they'll pick you. I'm like, okay, okay. Then I know that's when I had the interest in applying. So it was late. I was late to this application thing. It wasn't something that I knew like right from first year. No, I didn't know. It was like after school, a year after university. That was when I heard about it. And then I took my chances sometime later on, and then it didn't even happen. It took 3 years to happen, so it didn't happen overnight. It was a long. I don't know. Probably you may ask a question regarding that. So
Oh
probably
yeah, we'll get there.
we will
We'll
get
get
there.
there for the year. Well, I'm really grateful that you shared this. That you shared this. Sometimes and I've experienced this too before. Someone has experienced something and they're trying to get you interested. Where like, man, it's not for me. You built up
Exactly.
some reasons in your mind why no, it's not for people like me. I'm not interested. But then when you now see that someone exactly like you
Yes,
went through the same things that you did,
it
was
comes
able
up.
to get this thing, a light bulb just goes off like, whoa, what have I been doing? And then it now propels you to act. Wow. So that was really nice. So by the time this happened, by the time you got this motivation that okay, I would now start taking this seriously. Did you only focus on the US or did you look at other countries as well?
So the first one I started with the US. So it took me 3 years before I traveled. Let me just say that. So within the first year, it was mainly like the US. Then when things were not okay, like going as I was expecting, because now I'm fully now at this point, my like everything was into this travel thing, and I
Okay.
wasn't just limiting myself to US at that time. So I tried to broaden the horizon and then looked at Germany, because Germany I realized okay, I don't need the tuition. All I need to do is probably borrow money from someone and then block the account, and then when I get there, I send the money back to the person. So then I started looking into Germany. Actually, I must be honest, Germany should be one of the, from friends, it's one of the places I always tell people if you are not getting into the US and you just go there, if you can have that block account money, go there, reroute yourself back into the US through that place. It's a very telling place to learn actually. Um, so I
Okay.
tried Germany and I tried Hungary. I tried um, oh sure UK. But the reason why I've never liked the UK, the only reason why I tried UK was there was this scholarship, sorry, Ghana scholarship, something that I had to apply for, and it's easier. I was told if you are doing US than sorry UK than if you are doing US. So
Okay.
that was when I started like trying to apply to schools. UK, you apply today before you close your laptop, admission don't come. Hey,
Exactly. Like
I was like,
the rate of admission is really quick.
it's high, and then you'll be happy. So this is how UK is. You start like this, then you'll be happy like this, then you'll be happy. Then now you realize, I gas calm down, I gas calm down. Then you back there because you don't understand.
No scholarship, so
Yeah,
is going on?
So I stopped the UK search. I got into like 2-3 schools in the UK, Southampton, more than 3 schools. But the one I was super interested in was Liverpool University. There was a program, a data analytics program in Liverpool University. I was so happy, like, and it was branching to sports analytics. So it was like something I wanted to do seriously. So, but I didn't. When I didn't get the scholarship, I was like, well, bro, it's not meant to be, and then I stopped. So I tried a couple of countries, but I never tried Canada because like you were supposed to kind of look for someone you want to work with, all those.
An advisor.
No, it's like I'm competing before I go and compete. So I was like, thank you, Canada. I wasn't going to go there. Where else did I try? Yeah, I think these were the countries: Germany, US, UK, Hungary. Yeah,
Okay.
these are the four places I looked at. Yeah.
All right. So let's now talk about US. You said you tried for 3 years. Can you give an estimate, number-wise, of the number of schools that you say you applied to? Let's just look at US in those 3 years.
So in the first year, because I heard of it very late, because mind you, my guy is about to travel, and that's when you see. So it's like very super late at that time.
Yeah.
So quickly during, I applied for to this University of Miami in Ohio. There is one, is it Miami? There's one university like that in Ohio, but the name is like a city. I think it's Miami, University of Miami, but it's an Ohio, Miami stuff like that. Yeah. So I applied to that school. I applied. It was. I think for that year, 2018. I mean, to enroll in 2018, that was the only school I applied for. And I applied to that school actually because a friend of mine was also Emmanuel. He's now working in Nationwide. He's a data scientist in Nationwide. So he was also applying to that school, and then he told me about it. So I said, okay, let me try, and I tried and I applied and I paid for it, and I didn't hear back from them. Only God knows whether they replied me or not. I don't even remember. So after Emil exposed me to this, Emmanuel had also tried but wasn't successful, and then he was also trying again. So now the two of us became like buddies, like trying to do this. So I at no point in time was I doing this all by myself. At no point in time, I always had someone who was also doing it, or someone who has started doing it and has had some blockades, and you just learn from the person, stuff like that. So then in my second year of trying that one, I think I applied to like 5 or 6 schools or more. One school in Boston, I've forgotten the name of the university. Then Bowling Green, Youngstown, Illinois. Who am I missing? Athens, Ohio.
Okay.
I think these were the schools. I may miss one, but yeah, these were all the schools that I applied to. Some I even heard. Some is like the school is about to begin before you hear from them. I'm like, how is this possible? I didn't understand it. But so funny enough, so we are in 2019 now. We've moved from 2018. Now we are in 2019. Then I applied to this when I applied to those 5 schools. Now I heard back from BG. I got admission. I got admission to Youngstown. I got admission to which one again? I think I had 3 admissions. I don't remember the other school. Then 1 minute you have the admission, you are happy. 30 seconds later you realize, now for you to go there, now money matter. So how are you going to figure all this out? How are you going to figure all this thing out? So that was where the challenge. That's what actually even delayed my coming here, and lack of information as well. So in BG, the department you are in is most likely, for most schools, the department you are in is most likely going to be the one funding you for the most part. Yeah. However, in many of the schools, there are other opportunities elsewhere that they would need your service to be a graduate assistant. That if you are able to even get into it, that's how you kind of fund your school. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
So I was like, I didn't know about that till I met Oko.
Okay, this is a third person in your story now.
Yes, Oko Bensa. Now Oko is a classmate of mine's junior in high school.
Okay.
So I'm classmates with Ibrahim, and Ibrahim's school son when he was in senior high school is Oko Bensa. So
Okay.
when I was in 400, Oko Bensa was in I think 100 or 200, something like that. So Oko Bensa knew me through that, my friend. But I didn't know Oko was going through this process of applying. Because mind you, I finished in 2017 and we are now in 2019 heading to 2020. So he's now done with school and he's now applying.
All right. Okay.
So we are kind of, even though I was ahead of him in terms of
School
graduating,
level.
yes, but we are now at the same level.
Yeah, both of you are now graduates.
Yes, exactly. And mind you, at this time, Emmanuel that I started with has also gone.
Mm.
So now it's me neck and neck with with
Okay.
Isaac. Yes, Isaac. Now Isaac was in the picture, then another friend Baba to join. So now Baba and I were mates. So
Okay.
now that we have seen all our friends going like that, we are like, oh, it's now our turn. Oh.
We have to
So
go.
so I wrote the GRE, he wrote the GRE. We didn't do well, but we didn't care. They said, oh, everybody was telling us, bro, just submit it. Don't worry about it. Submit it. Sometimes some schools don't even really look at those things. Some schools really look at them. So don't be fixated on, oh, I didn't do well. Yes, so I won't submit it. Sometimes there are some schools that actually the coordinators don't even, I wouldn't say they don't care, but they look at it as like an additional information.
Okay.
And the process is very holistic. It's not like, okay, you had GRE 9 billion score, so we'll take, even though your personal statement is bad,
Yeah.
so it's a whole process altogether. So you don't discount yourself and then be like, oh, I had a low score in GRE, so I submitted. I didn't care. I submitted to when they said 4 is for free, and then if you don't submit it that day and you submit it any other day, I think it was at the time it was $32 or $35.
Yeah.
I submitted all the four. I submitted all the four to all the, even some. I think I submitted to all the 4 schools I intended applying to. Submitted. And I think the other one they accepted the copy, so I just submitted the copy that I had to them.
But they'll send you your email later.
Yes, if you are admitted and all that, you send the original score to them later. So now that Ima is gone, and I met Oko too, and then Oko applied to BGSU. So
Okay.
myself and Oko, he got into BGSU. I also got into BGSU, but he had the tuition waiver from RAM. I did not.
Okay.
And so I was chilling. I didn't get it. I was like, no problem. He said RAM said I should wait for whatever.
People that watch it don't know who Rump is.
Oh, sorry. Dr. Rump is sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everybody. Dr. Rump happens to be a program coordinator for the master's program that I was in. So let me say this off bat. I was in the same program with Inzube at Bowling Green State University, which I probably would have gotten to that, but now that he's saying it, I just have to say that at the back of my, like, we were in the same program in Bowling Green University. He was a semester ahead of me. So
you came to the US before me.
Yeah, the whole story. I came to the US before him, but he was like, so back to how the whole process began. Then in 2019, I didn't get the funding from the department. I was like, okay, that's fine. It's all good. But mind you, in 2019, everything came in like 2020. So then Oko told me that, bro, there are other, like the school, if you are not getting from the department, try like other places. Then he sent me this link and it has all the graduate assistantship positions open and all those things. So then I applied to Learning Commons. I applied to the Learning Commons and I didn't get it. That was in 2019. I didn't get it. So when I didn't get it, no problem. Then in 2020, I now spread my tentacles. Like, it became my bread and butter for BG. So I was, for any school that I applied to, I'll go, okay, graduate, I didn't get the scholarship. That's fine. Then I'll go to their
graduate assistantships.
Exactly. Whatever it is, administrative. There are some that they will tell you that your background should be medical. I just submit, guy. You can't come and kill me. The point is, this is my whole policy. I am submitting it. It behoves on you to say you want me or not. If you don't want me, fine. But what if you wanted me and I didn't submit because I said I didn't have what minimum requirement and stuff like that? I don't care about that minimum, because at that point I had tried for 2 years and I wasn't willing to give up at that time. It's like I was like, it's not. I'm not giving. This is not the time for me to give up. So I kept sending it in till I found Office of Academic Assessment. Then I applied. When I applied, then I got an interview. I was like, yes.
So I
So
just
this is
want
what
to
he said.
yeah,
Yeah,
so I just
this
want
is
to
what
show
he
this
said,
so that people will see what you were saying. So because you've been releasing a lot of value, and I really want to help people that are watching to understand some of the things that you're saying, so it doesn't fly over their heads. So usually there are grant assistantships that the department funds. So this is a way to get scholarship. That department that you're applying to could give you grant assistantship, but there are also available grant assistantship positions on campus, which might not be your department that you can apply for. So you submit like resume for it. You might need to do an interview for you to now get this position. So for Bowling Green, this is the website. For Bowling Green, this is the website available grant assistantships, and you can see these ones are filled. This is available. These ones are filled. This is available, and they keep updating this website as positions become available. Yeah. All right. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's super good. So you streamline the search, and then you can apply this same knowledge to other universities too. Some other universities do that. So look out for those things, and then whenever you're applying, just don't focus on the department. Um, if it doesn't work through the department, it could work through somewhere else. Just spread your tentacles, and then wherever it works for you, God bless you. So I got in the interview, and then I interviewed and all that, and before going for the interview, there was a Ghanaian on the panel.
Oh wow.
But I
Okay.
didn't know. I didn't know beforehand, before going for the interview. I didn't know there was going to be a Ghanaian on the panel.
Mm.
So I just went, prepared, went. Ask you question, you answer. Ask you question, you answer. You used this one before? Yes. You used this one before? Yes. Have you done this in this before? No. Yes. No. I mean, go through the interview process. And actually, days later, I got an email from the woman that she's sorry. They've decided to go with another candidate, blah blah
Wow.
blah. I was like, wow. So, but one thing I did was I wrote the name of that guy down. I
Okay.
wrote his name down. So then I quickly went to I think Google or somewhere like that, and I got his BGSU email.
Okay.
So when I got his BGSU email, and then I sent the email to him, spoke to him about like I emailed him about the interview, saying, "Oh, thank you for the interview." Blah, blah. I mean, I sent the original thank you note to the to my madam, then the interviewer, like
Okay.
who, yeah, but I mean I couldn't send it to the other ones too, so I sent
Yeah.
it
So
to
essentially the person that you were already communicating with,
exactly,
yeah, that you
exactly.
applied.
But
Okay.
now I sent it to this guy as well, and thanked him, and I asked him. This is the question I asked him. Upon all the grammar I wrote, this where it was most important. What did I do wrong in the interview that you think I could improve on, so that next time if I interview for this position, you go, now no one come and say you didn't say this or you didn't say that. That was the question I asked. I mean, I wrote a lot of things, but what I was hoping he would touch
Aiming
on was
at
that.
right.
Yeah. And then he replied, and it's funny. I don't know how, but I told him I'm a meticulous person, and guess what? I spelled the word meticulous wrongly. Um,
Wow.
you can't believe. I couldn't believe
Wow.
it when I saw his reply. I couldn't believe I had made such, and that's why Grammarly became my big brother. I think that what happened was, I mean, the broken heart I had when I was writing that letter, Omo, I was so sad because that was my last. Of course, the other schools they've blocked me. Those ones they told me no, they are not. You are not even on wait list. No, you get admission, but you don't get funding. No, no, no. So BG was the only one that kind of gave me some glimpse of hope. So I was
Hmm.
focusing on BG so much so that I could get. So when I didn't get it, I was so peeved at myself that I couldn't do well in the interview. But this is what he told me. He said, honestly, it's not because of like you didn't say something or this and that. The only reason why you didn't get in was because there was a student that had been recommended by the graduate coordinator.
Okay.
So, and here in the US, more recommendation is like bread and butter.
Yeah, it's very solid. It's very
It's,
strong.
it's bread and butter. So once, and then the coordinator was like, she didn't want to go against, like, I mean, they've been using students from our department a lot. So it's like, it's not today that they're going to start taking new students from that department. So
Mm.
that's why they kind of went with that candidate. I was like, I kept quiet. I no talk. Wait, I no ball. I go. So I was there, and then I kind of thought to myself, what do I do this time around? Then I deferred the
Admission.
admission. I deferred the admission to 2020. So now in 2020, I told the woman, I kept on I made sure every 3 months I'll email this woman and I'll be like, any opening don't come, let me know. If anything, let me know. Every 3 months, I made sure and she was like, oh yeah, thank you so much for reaching out. It's always a pleasure to connect with you. Oh, okay. At the moment, we still don't have any position, but if a position comes up, I'll let you know. And blah blah blah. I was like, okay.
And this is
So
good because you're putting
so
yourself in a mind.
yeah. So I'll let me drift away from this and say this. Oko is a genius. Do you know what Oko used to do? Oko used to call Professor Ram's office from Ghana.
Wow.
He used to call Professor Ram's office from Ghana. And he knows he's going to miss the call. He knows he's calling probably daytime and it is probably night or something like that. He doesn't care. All he wants to do is leave a message. Hello, Professor Ram. This is Oko Bensa Isaac. I'm just reaching out to say have a happy weekend. And I know you said
Mm.
I'll hear from you, blah, blah, blah. I just want to know that I've not received any email from you. I just want to check up on you and know if you've sent any emails and probably I'm missing an email or something like that. That's what Oko was doing. So I always tell people, I don't know you, you don't know me.
Right.
If I see an application in front of me, I am approaching this application with no emotion, no anything, no investment, nothing.
Mm.
However, if I kind of have any sort of connection with you, now
Yeah.
when I pick your application, I'm blurred by they say love blind people. You are blinded, the person has become blind. Even if your GRE score is 120, they are seeing 210.
Oh, this is so good.
So that was when, but this was later when I didn't get it, and Oko was about leaving. That we were having this conversation, and Oko was telling me all these things. So I was like, oh, so from what Oko told me, then I started reaching out to this woman because I knew that it was too competitive to get from the department. The competition was too high. But I had also connected to Oko when Oko came here. There were Bafo was here, so I know. I hope you know Bafo.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yes,
do.
so I was connected to Bafo as well through a friend of mine, Sconti. Then, because Bafo did our program, then Bafo would be like, "Oh, okay, I'll go and talk to Ramp on your behalf. I'll go and talk to Ramp on your behalf." Then he'll come back and tell me, the man says money no deal. I'm like, okay, no problem. So you are conditioning the person to know you to be someone who's good. Because the point is, everybody applying to that program, about 85% of the time, qualified to be in that program.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
80. So it's not, see, you can be first class and someone can be pass. If they qualify to be in that program, they are as much as capable of being in that program just as you.
Mm.
And someone who has a pass can be in that program, and at the end of the day, even do better than you did. Because
Yes.
once you start the master's program, it's a clean sheet. All that undergraduate grades you had, it's all wiped away. It's clean sheets you are starting with. So I was like, if that's the case, then let me also. Then I was repeating this email stuff, but she forgot to even tell me that there had been an opening. So it was still going through the that
Websites.
graduate website thing. Then I saw the opening again. I was like, is it true? So what did I do? I now emailed her again and said, I just saw an advertisement, blah blah blah. Is it true that it's opening? Because I've not heard back from you. I told you to reach out to me. You did not. Oh, so is it open? And she said, oh, sorry, I forgot. It's open, so you can put in your application. In my mind, I thought she would say, oh, don't worry, I'll give it to you.
We have to go through the process again. Everything for this country get process.
So it was very funny. Then I got in, then I interviewed this time around to the Ghanaian guy that was on the previous panel was now, because he's in his second year now, he's now in the panel because you do interview, they help you in the interview process to get a new student. So he was in the panel, and guess what? The Emma, the girl that was recommended by the department, left just after one semester. and then another Ghanaian came into the department. So now I was on the panel. Fortunate for me, I always thank God for that. I always say I have never been the smartest student in any class that I've been in, even up until now. I've never been like, oh, he's the best in our class. Never. From primary, never. It's never happened. I
Mm.
always say I don't deserve to be here. I always see all these things as God's blessings in my life. It has nothing to do with my
Mm.
book knowledge and my no.
Oh,
That's how I believe that
no.
wholeheartedly. You may decide not to believe it. That is you. But to me, I believe
Yeah.
wholeheartedly that it's God. So fortunately, there was two Ghanaian on the panel with my madam who was white. And already, mind you, I've positioned myself in her head already. And this guy has also
Yes,
met me already.
3 months email that you've been sending.
Exactly. So now it was about having a conversation of like the conversation was so relaxed, like I didn't even stress about it like I stressed the first time. So we had uh, the interview, and then I was told 10 days. She told me I'll hear from her, but they have some few interviews to conduct. But this is what gave me a lot of hope. The guy told me when I reached out to him previously that they only interviewed two or three people. So if I've
Oh,
interviewed, so like over there, I did my math, and I'm like, okay, three people will be 33. Now two people will be 50%. Now, out of that 50%, one person will be new.
mathematician.
Exactly. All I said was,
Doing
even
calculation.
if it is three people, this was what I was thinking. Even if it was three people, initially to be 33% throughout, right? But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, because of my conditioning and all those things, and then the fact that I interviewed last year, I'll steal people's percentage and add
Yeah,
to
yeah. So you also, yes, there's still favor for you.
in my mind, I'm 50% and the rest they are sharing 25%. That didn't concern me. Whatever they were. In my mind, I was like, I'm getting it. And I was there, I was praying about it, super prayerful about it. It wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy period because during that period I was going through a lot. It's not been easy, but then boom, I read the email. And every Ghanaian, no, not every Ghanaian, most Ghanaians know this guy called Kenata. He has a song that talks about people who've traveled outside and how the struggle is. Boy, I kept on listening to that song the week in which the email dropped. So I was listening to that email, I was listening to that song. Then my phone vibrates. I thought it was someone who just texted me. So may I go pick and see WhatsApp. I picked the phone and I saw an email. Then I saw her name. I didn't read it because my heart jumped out of my body.
Oh,
I went
wow.
out.
Moment of decision.
Initially, mind you, I've previous year. I don't read. We are sorry already. Any love letter, I don't come already. So I was like, okay, let me not spoil that with it. And I went out where there was no one, and boom, it's like, okay, they decided to move on with my application and da 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 da. So I was like, hey, Nami,
Congratulations.
Nami, God don't bless me. God don't bless me. I said, God, thank you like 10 billion times. God, thank you. God, thank you. God, thank you. God, thank you. I was so happy. I was super duper happy. I won't lie to you. So I I reached out to. So you see, now I have the assistantship. I don't have the tuition waiver. So
All right.
when immediately I told Oko that now Oko is in Bowling Green and I'm in Ghana. So the moment I told Oko that, bro, this what has happened, I have like the assistantship covered. He's like, bro, reach out to Dr. Ram today. Tell him that you've gotten it. And so you are reaching out to him. Then I reached out to Ram, drafted he sent me something like that. I drafted the email and I sent to Dr. Ram. This is a terrific news. Great news. I'm so happy. I'm like, sure, you not be happy initially, you will give me funding. Come on to tell me you are now happy. All this while you weren't too happy. All this while weren't too happy for me. Then he was like, okay. So I asked him whether there were some spillover funds that I could access. He told me, oh, he's not sure about it, but he'll get back to me in no time. But Oko had told me that mostly some people will get visa, they won't come. Some
Yeah.
people will, a whole lot happens. So
Yeah.
sometimes
Some people will not get visa safe.
visa, yes,
Mm.
a whole lot. So like I should just wait. And so I waited, and bro, I closed my eyes and opened my eyes. Corona don't happen.
Yeah. That was 2020.
Guy, I was so peeved. I was so angry because, mind you can't transfer assistantships. You can't transfer scholarships. Mostly they terminate it. They'll tell you that reapply and then we'll consider you again.
Mm.
This was like This was like in my head. I was drained because I was angry. It's been, mind you, I mean, the 2.5 years in this thing trying to get this thing going, and this is the first time I've ever had a step ahead in terms of funds and stuff like that.
Yeah, like you've gotten a
And
yes for
yeah,
money.
it was heartbreaking. It was during that period, during that Corona period, it was super heartbreaking. Then I wrote. See, God is wonderful. I wrote, and that's why I tell you that. But the story is very funny. I wrote an email to the lady and told her that I wanted to come. I've taken my I-20 and all that, but embassies are shut down. I cannot come. I know probably you want to terminate my assistantship, but I'm pleading with you to, if it's possible, hold it for me. And I'm promising you that I'll be here next semester, which is spring. Me, I'm promising Oyibo I'll come next spring. Meanwhile, I don't know whether Corona will end or Corona will end.
Right. And you don't even know how the visa interview process will
Exactly.
be.
So then over there, then she told me that she replied me and told me, that's fine. I'll keep it for you till next semester. Bro, I was crazy. So over there, I was like, oh no, Vim Day. There is hope. I was so happy about that. So happy. So now the semester has begun. I didn't go. And they were asking me whether I want to join. Ramp was asking me whether I want to start online. So he would have given me the tuition waiver, but I'll start the class online from Ghana. But this was the time where I was doing my masters in Ghana.
Okay, yeah, you started the masters
So
in
in
finance.
Ghana. So I was like, and I had paid a lot of money for fees. It was a fee paying. I paid a lot of money for that. I was like, I just paid money. I don't think I'll have the time. Now I'll wake up dawn and time zone and all those things. I don't think I can do that and do this masters again because
I
this one is
think
training. I was like, okay,
mm,
I can't. I have to postpone it to spring. It's next spring. So I was there, and then spring spring showed its head. 2021 showed its head, and this time around, when I sent him the email, he's like, "Still, there is no money." I was like, "No problem. I'll go for the interview with my assistantship value, which wasn't that bad because it was around 10K, but the everything was around 27. So I had like 17 deficit to show. So
okay.
I was like, it's
The cost of
still
attendance, let me help you explain to people that don't understand, was 27,000. Then the funding that you got was 10,000. So
exactly.
deficits which you had to now show that you can cover was 17,000 with a bank statement. You show it with the bank statement. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, I'll just give that a go, and um, I'll just see how it goes. And and another funny story, in the middle of my master's program to now, Illinois State also reached out to me that they have a 50% tuition waiver for me if I want to come. And at that time too, I was still doing that master's program. I had paid, and it's so funny
Okay.
that if I paid, like, let's say I paid the fees yesterday, no, like 3 days ago.
Mm.
Today, then the email came in. I was
Wow.
like, I'd spent a lot of money here. I don't have that money, and I don't know who I'm going to ask to give me that money to um, go through the process of like playing. I was like, no, thank you. Can I defer it? They said no, but I should apply for the fall one again. I was like, that's fine, that's fine,
No.
and I left it. So now back to the BG story. Then I was preparing for the interview. How to even get my I-20 here was a whole debacle. A guy was coming because now I think now they send electronic card um
Yeah, they
because of
send it
the
electronically now, but back then you have
you have
to
to mail it.
detail.
Yeah, mail
Yeah.
it to DHL. And it was so expensive that I didn't have the money. Luckily for me, there was a guy. So when Emmanuel went to OU, he was with one guy who was our junior back in University of Cape, was called Mubarak. So Mubarak was coming to Ghana to come visit his parents. So we were
Okay.
like, okay, then if Mubarak is coming, then Mubarak should bring my I-20. But,
I-20.
but
Yes.
before Mubarak would come, if my interview is like tomorrow, Mubarak will arrive today.
Oh, I was close.
Bro,
I was
super
close.
close, super close. So, and a whole lot happened even with that. So, this thing is very funny. So so I mean, about 2 to 3 weeks to the interview, then Ramp was like, okay, there is this tuition waiver stuff like lying down like that. I was like, fix me. Then he fixed me. So, but at that time, I didn't know about the out of state. I knew nothing about out of state tuition. all I thought was that I've gotten tuition
Well,
waiver, and that was it. I didn't know that there was something called out of state. So then I added that amount to the 10K, and everything became around 15K ish. I think so, around 15K. Then the rest was bank statement issue. So now Mubarak was coming, and he had issued his flight delayed or something like that. So
wow.
actually he would be arriving, because his flight delayed. He will be arriving a day after my interview
Ah,
with my I-20.
July 20.
Yes, but now that he has it, we're like, okay, then just create a copy and send to me.
Okay,
And
okay.
then that's what he did. He created a copy of it, sent it to my email, and I printed it. So I printed my I-20, my new I-20 that had the new funding attached to it. I think the night,
Before
like,
that.
yes, if my interview is tomorrow, like 9 a.m., I printed it this evening.
Hmm.
Printed this evening, guy. It wasn't easy. So it was the process was very, and then the visa interview too, how I got the date. I say it's all God's doing. Like, it's so funny. There were people that had funding and everything set. I had friends that was working with these things on when. So I always tell people, at every stage you need different people. Like,
Yes,
at every
yes.
stage of every stage, you have to, if you are not meeting new people during each of these stages, then there is a problem. At the admission stage, personal statement stage, you meet people, but some will
Mm.
be discouraged and some will stop. You are continuing, you are continuing. So then when you get to the admission phase, there are some that will get admission, some that won't get admission and will stop. Now you continue to funding phase. Now you
Yeah.
continue to visa
Visa
application
interview.
phase. Now you go to plane ticket phase. All these, I'm telling you, all these phases, you have to meet new people, and it's all these new people that help you here and then, and you are able to get it done. So when I was looking for a date, I couldn't get a date because, mind you, they said because of the corona nobody's traveling, but they had released this short period for some interviews like that, and the closest interview date was like in February, something like that. And a friend told me, just book it. So I booked it.
And that
And when I
is February interview dates to start January,
yes,
I think.
yes.
Right.
So I booked it, and then so in my mind, I'll still go for the interview in February. I'll come to the US. I've gotten this far. You can't come and tell me anything. So when I got there, and then a friend of mine, Jude Loco, and Valerie and Jude are mates in UCC. They are like 3 years behind, 3 to 4 years behind. I think I was doing my service when they came to first year, but
Oh,
everything has piled that now
yeah, yeah.
we are at the
Oh,
same level. Yeah, we are at the same level. Life is very funny, and that's why you always have to stay humble, because
all right.
the tables always turn, and when they do turn, how you treated people going up is how they'll treat you coming down. So yeah, so it was during that period, and then Jude had January 5th. Valerie had December 23rd. I remember these dates
Mm.
because, like, bro, it's then I tried. I couldn't get the expedite thing. I couldn't get it. So I was
Wow.
helping. I was helping them prepare. I was helping because me, in my mind, I'm not going for an interview anytime soon. So 1st December, or was it 1st December? It was first. I think it's first week of December. No, or 7th. Because I had just like a week. No, it was 12. Yeah, second week of December. And Jude called me and told me that he's heard that they said that there are some slots available. So I should quickly hop onto the internet, like, and then try and get.
And see if
So
you can schedule.
yes, within 30 seconds, went on, do this, do that, do that, do that. On my Wi-Fi, go to load. Go.
With the bad network, oh my god. Wow. Ah. Okay.
So then I did that, and then I got a date. The thing popped up December 16th.
Hmm.
Bro, at this point, I have less than 2 weeks to prepare for the interview. I have, even though I was preparing, we do mock interview among each other and all those. Like, it wasn't like
Prepare for yourself.
intentional. It wasn't that intentional. And luckily for me, they were all helpful. Because their dates were a bit further, they kind of, it's not that they paused preparing for themselves, but like they now switched to me, grilling me, and then preparing me for the interview. Because now mine is early. And how mine will go in our mind, how mine will go is an indication about theirs. So if I get in, then they are getting in by force.
Nice.
Exactly. So these were these and Jude. I attend the same church with Jude, so I've known Jude for long. But I met Valerie through Jude. So
Okay.
so it was through that, and then December 16th, I went for my visa interview, bro. No, no, no. Ahead of me, no, no,
Hmm.
no, no.
Denials. Everybody
I
were
had
leaving. Bad
when
news.
when it got to my turn. See,
Sleep.
and I always say this not because I think it's all God's doing. I was asked certain two questions, right? And those two questions, basically, before man and God, it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a big lie. But I wasn't conscious of it. Because I was so tensed, I spoke before I thought about it.
Okay. Wow.
So but before I realized I had said what I had said already, and I was like, this is not the time for me to say, oh, sorry, sorry, oh no. I was like,
You're
just
going
just
to bring in
yeah,
doubt.
yeah, just let it go. Let it go. So she asked me where I was going to, everything. We got to that part. Then she picked my she has the DS stuff,
Yes, 160 pulled up.
yeah, pulled up, and then she was asking me, and she's like, um, how many siblings do you have? Bro, I come of a family of 10 to 11 human beings. I said four. In fact, I said four without thinking. I said four in my mind. I
Whoa.
just can't fathom why I said four. And now, recently, I really understood why I said four. Because from my mom's side, I'm the fourth child.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I always used to blame myself that I lie. Like I used to be like, why did I lie? But I was like, when I realized that I'm the fourth child, I was like, no, it's a lie, but it wasn't that much of like it was because in my brain, yeah, and I said four. And then the follow-up was, you are the last one, right? I said yes. I'm number four of number 10 to
11.
9 children. Oh. So I said, so those were the two things that I remember saying in those interviews that I wholeheartedly I knew like when I came out of the interview, I realized this is what I said, and they were wrong. But I was like, if I had thought about it before talking, I wouldn't have answered her the way I answered. It was
Hmm.
just because I was so tensed, bro. Like the number of rejections I had seen in front of me. And then there was this guy I spoke to before the interview. There were two guys I spoke to before the interview. These guys have full funding.
Hmm.
These guys have full funding. And even for one guy, it was too strange. He has full funding. He has started online class for one semester.
Wow, with COVID.
Yes, and he was bounced. So
And
I
he
was
was
like,
denied.
at
Hi.
that point, I was like, to God be the glory. He should do whatever. Yeah. So I was just answering questions. I was angry. I wanted to even leave there because, like, I was like, then this woman paused for like more than 2 minutes
Hmm.
typing. Guy, I was like, what are you typing? Why would you do this to your brother? You kill me. You give me hypertension. I'm sure that day, if they check my blood pressure, it will be 10 billion over 10 billion. And so
Wow.
it was very funny. It was very funny. And then I was just standing there. And then when I was standing there, and I've always had this, I always tell people pick a Bible verse and let that be like your bread and butter. And for me,
Hmm.
Ephesians 3:20 was my go-to. Now to him who is able to do far more than I can think or imagine according to his power that is at work in me. Like I
Yeah.
kept on reciting it in my head. And then I came up with this thing that like tables shall surely turn. Whatever I was in, whatever situation I was in at the time that I was saying that it was very hard for me. I always said that table will turn. The tables will surely turn. The tables will surely turn. Tables will surely turn. He's able to do far more. He said, I was just standing there and I was just saying that in my head and I was looking at her direct. I not flinch. I was looking at her like this, saying it. Tables will turn. Tables will turn. They are you.
Hmm.
Then she looked on the PC after typing for only God knows how long. Now I think she was looking at me, but because I was too fixated on looking at, I think I didn't even see her looking at me.
Wow.
So then she's like, the visa is approved. Guy, I talk
Hmm.
thank you God. I talk thank you God like 3 billion times. As I go take car, I dey talk thank you God. As I go, I don't know. And the point is, when I got the visa, bro, I couldn't believe it. In my head, I'm like, Kofi Anefi, me. Like,
Hmm.
I dey
Hmm.
go America, me. You know,
Wow.
I was like, how? I couldn't
You
believe
know,
it.
being real, like, I'm
Yes,
going.
I couldn't, bro, I couldn't believe it. I was so shocked. Even though that's all I've been praying and fasting and all those things for, and asking some good Christian friends to be praying for me too. I I just couldn't believe it. I just
Hmm.
couldn't believe it. I was like, Is that me? Is that me? Is that me? Is that me? It was a crazy day. And that day in the evening, I went out with a very good friend of mine, Cersei. We went out to, and then his family. I mean, I'm a family friend to there, so spend the night over there at their place. Went out, and then my girlfriend at the time came in too. We went out. It was so fun. It was so nice. Like it was so
Oh,
great. So good. I felt so happy, but I was so sad I was going to leave them. And I was like, we were talking, and they were like, "Oh, so you're coming to leave us?" I was like, "No, bro, Charlie, I'm tired in this Ghana. The way I want to leave."
I just believe.
Yeah. So
Wow.
basically, that's the journey from applying to the visa stage, and so I didn't even get time to even see my dad. I saw my parents. I spoke to. So I attended. I went for the interview on the 16th. On the 17th, a very close cousin of mine was getting married, so I went for the
Wedding.
ceremony, yes, the wedding. And that was when I told my uncle I was living with in Cape Coast. And then I came home on the, like, I think 18th or 19th. And I told my dad, I remember telling my dad, I called my dad to, I told him I have a conversation with him and my mom. And then they came in. My dad, because I told my dad I wanted to get married early. So when I told him that, like, I want to have a conversation with him, in his mind, all he was thinking was like, this is
Your
small.
marriage.
Person don't cast my son brain, won't go marry him. He don't deceive my picky finish. So when I said that to him, he told me that he said in his mind that, oh shoot, I'm so proud of this boy. He wants to get married because we had several discussions about me getting married early and stuff like that. Then I told him, yeah, it's been 3 years now since I've been asking you to help me in prayer about something, and mind you, it's been like 5 years I've been telling him I want to get married. So like it's the same thing. His man is the same thing. Then I told him about it, and I told him that I've not decided when I'm leaving, but I may either leave like in 4 days, in 3 days. I can leave tomorrow. I can leave any day, or I can leave next year. This guy, he was sitting on the bed with my mom like this. My mom looked in my eyes like this, as if I'm crazy. I'm talking something stupid. She
Oh,
was looking at me like this. I'm sure in her head she was saying, "Is this guy crazy? What is he even talking about? Which kind of American uncle you want to go?" I'm sure that's what she'll be saying in her head. And my dad too looked at me like this, and then he was sitting. Then he fell on the bed like this. It's so funny. Then all he was saying, "Thank you God, thank you God, thank you God, thank you God."
you got it from.
Yeah, it was that experience. Me that night talking to my parents. It's one of those nights that I felt very proud. I barely feel proud of myself, regardless what I have accomplished. I barely feel proud of myself. I barely do because I don't want to get comfortable. I barely do. So when my dad did that, I was so impressed. I was like, that was when I realized how big it was. I never saw how big it was. That's when I realized how big it was. Then now I had to book a ticket.
No.
All the Yeah. So basically, and then I got here, and we'll talk about here thereafter too. So yeah, basically that's the journey.
Thank you. That was very inspirational. Yeah, that was very inspirational, and thank you for sharing it in that much details, and also mentioning the people that played instrumental roles. Yes, and that's your whole journey of coming over here. And one of the things I also want to like speak on that you mentioned was when you said you had the scripture in your mind. Yeah, that's during the interview. It was just in your mind as you were
Yeah.
responding.
Yeah.
I also had, in short, I wrote like I think seven
Yeah, 7
scriptures,
is too much. 7 is
and
too much for me.
I
Now
was
I'm
going through
now
them.
focus.
I was going through them, and then during that interview, I was just remembering Isaiah when God said, "I'm not alone. You are not alone. I'm with you." And that's what I just kept on responding. That I just kept saying it in my mind
Bro,
that
I
everything
understand
will work
why
out
you
for
kept.
good.
I totally agree with you. Keeping 7 in your head, going for interview for 4 years, 3 years to be able to travel. No, you've done so well, bro. 4 times, no.
And that's really a lot.
Yeah.
So let's back up a little and talk about your profile.
Okay.
Your profile as you were applying for these schools. Yes, there are
So
many things
I
we've spoken about, but let's talk about this on your profile as at applying. I would appreciate if you can get as specific as you can.
okay. I will. I will.
How was your GP
Okay.
like? You mentioned you wrote the GRE.
Yeah.
Can you share what it was?
Yeah.
Did you have work experience? That kind of thing.
So with the GRE, I'll start with the GRE. I don't remember what I think I had one Jesus 150 what in the math. I don't think I remember the math because it was above 150. That's all I remember. But the English was terrible. The English I couldn't even. I remember I didn't make 150. It was terrible. Like I'm being honest, it
Wow.
was terrible. So for me, GRE has not been my bread and butter thing at all. I didn't like it. I at a point I didn't like it. I nearly wrote it again, but someone told me to just take a leap of faith and then just apply again. So that was the GRE side. I wasn't working, but mind you, my profile kept on changing semester, like every application. I told you I did this for 3 years. Every
Mm,
application cycle, um, things changed. So
yeah.
my GPA in undergrad, I had second class lower. So that is like on the low side of second class. And so
Wow.
it's not like I was like top notch. No. But
Wow.
this is I always tell people this: find what you know, what you want to do, and then just get it done. So even though I'm second class lower when it comes to my overall GPA, when you stratify my math and my statistics class out of that, I'm well up above, like I'm nearly first class with those grades.
Okay. Okay.
Anytime I say I don't want to, like, I'm not saying that, and I know people with pass who even came to the US with for masters. So I always say it goes beyond grades. Whatever you think you are deficient in, make up for it. Whatever you think you are deficient in, make up for it. So in my mind, for me, the GRE was my makeup, and that one didn't go and make up its makeup. So it became, yeah. And then mind you, now when I started the masters, so at the first year of applying, this was the profile. Now additionally, I started doing my masters. So now, and my first semester grades were in, and those was very good. It was like in the first classes. So like now my masters, my for the undergrad was that, but for the masters I was in a like upper first class ish. So that too kind of beefed it augmented the undergrad one. And I
Yeah.
remember having a conversation with Dr. Ramp, and he told me point blank why he chose me. Actually, he told me. I remember him telling me vividly like this. He told me he was like, mind you, I was the graduate ambassador for our program. So we were
Mm,
having
yeah.
we were having a conversation about recruitment, and he was telling me that for him, he doesn't look at overall because that thing deceives a lot. And so he takes out. He said for him when he's doing, he will take out all the unnecessary English, whatever
Great.
class. Yes, he takes out all those ones. Then he focuses on the classes you took. Okay, you took partial differential equations. You had a B plus. You took ordinary differential equations. You had an A. You took this algebra. You had an A. You took this. You had an A. You had an A. So then why can't you do this program just because you had a B or a C in a management class that
Yeah.
has
English or
nothing
something that is not
that has
related.
not exactly that has nothing to do with what you are here to do. So I always tell people, don't just look at your overall GPA and be like, oh, I'm giving up. No. And sometimes the mistake I was also doing, I mean, this is after years of knowledge, is that I'm fixated. Okay, I did math undergrad. I have to do math and masters.
Masters.
I did that was that I think that if I had taken another route, and then I mean I'm talking in hindsight, so that it's it's easier for me to say, but it wasn't easy to do it at the time. So if I had probably chosen like I feel like finance or something else or quantitative something different, probably I would have gotten earlier than I did because
Okay.
I was too focused on going into math, right? Or
Mm,
going to start, and then that was so basically, that's the stuff. But mind you, as I said, as the years kept on growing, my profile kept on changing. And
improving.
now, yeah, what happened to us that when Emmanuel now came here, he was helping me a lot. We were taking this Coursera course. Coursera has this stuff they do that you can, if you're able to finish the course within 7 days. I don't know if they still do that. If you're able to take the course and finish everything within 7 days, it is free.
Mm,
So now
wow.
so what I did was that when I look at say the description of the duties of what the person has to do, then I'll go to Coursera and I'll go and look for a course on that. And then my guy and he will be in the US and I'm in Ghana and we'll do it. And then because we are cushioning each other, like we'll do it. I did like two or three. I think I did one Excel, two Excel, and then one financial something acumen, something. I've forgotten what it is. I did those three things. So all those ones were added to the profile subsequently. Like so in first year that I did the application, it wasn't that strong. But as the years like went on, it became like a bit stronger and stronger and stronger. I don't know whether they do that now, but they used to do that 7 free day trial stuff. Finish it within that 7 days, and then you're done. So that's what I did, and then my profile improved a lot. So that's what I'm saying. Whatever you think you are lacking, make up for it. Just make up for it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So this is the Coursera website. You guys can check it out. They have several courses, and I personally have done some courses here on Coursera as well. But I really see the intentionality that you had on making your profile to be strong. Yes, you had finished with a 2.2, but you didn't just stop there.
No.
Yeah, you were still making intentional steps to scale up, to get these external certifications related to the degree you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yes, and all this really helped to build your profile. So you are watching, you have a low GPA, you are hearing from someone with the exact same profile. Yes, so you see, no excuses again.
No.
Let's talk about internships. Let's just fast forward and talk about internships. What was the experience like for you?
Okay.
What was the experience like for you getting internships?
Yeah. If a law is passed today, if a law is passed in this America today, that every company should reply everybody that they have ever applied to them today, right now as we speak. If a law passes today, and they say they should pass that law, I'm sure I'll receive replies of almost 1,500.
Whoa!
I'm telling you,
right to 1,500 companies.
More than guy, you don't know. You don't know. More than that. More than I will be. Listen, if I'm doing 4 applications a day for like 3 months, how many applications have I submitted?
4 applications a day for 3 months.
Bro, listen, it wasn't an option. There was no option. There was no option for nothing.
Whoa.
No option.
Oh, okay.
There was no, because the point was, you see, in my first semester, what happened in my first semester, I had the opportunity to interview with Owens Corning.
Okay.
They did this fair thing, and then I submitted my application. A lot of people too submitted. That's how I told you, I've never been the best in any class I've been in, but I believe God's grace is what directs my path up until this time. And in all the stories that I keep telling,
you're giving God things to work with, because let me help amplify this. Yes. Yeah, God is helping you, but then you're telling me you're doing applications a day for 3 months.
I know you always say that to me.
You're not just sitting down and saying, "Oh, God's grace would."
Yeah. Oh no, yeah.
He seriously submit an application for you and all of that. Oh, I've submitted 5. God, please work with that.
I always tell. Well, we'll get to the later part when you ask me about advice and all that. I'll talk about that later on. So, when I had that interview, there were only 2 people that were shortlisted across. When we always goes to like BGSU, Ohio State, they go around. So they go around. It's not just like BG but they love BG because they have like one of the Gideon was like a previous student in BG our program. So yeah, so he kind of loved like to have people from our program do internship with them. So guess the other person. Owens Corning. So guess the other person.
Ishmael.
Yep.
Ishmael. Okay.
Ishmael was the other person. Now Ishmael himself was seriously looking for a job because at that time he had a semester to finish school. So mind you, this is my first semester. And the reason why I got in was because I had done these Coursera thing I was talking about. I had done some of them. So now some of them were now kind of paying off. And then now I work the assistantship I was doing. I was using Power BI. So like it's like the profile is like building up.
Yes. Experience.
So then only 2 of us actually interviewed. And I was part of those 2. It blew my mind. I never understood. I was like, me? How? I couldn't believe it. So we did the interview and everything, and then Ismail was chosen ahead of me. And they told me they liked the conversation and everything, but I should keep on with the application, and next year they'll come up again and all that. So that was the first one. Then a friend called Baka, I spent like months with him when I came to US. He and Sconti. I knew Sconti from Ghana before I came to the US, so I lived with Sconti and then Baka in their room for like a month and a half before I left. And then even though I had an apartment, I didn't leave because I was still there because like these are my guys. I was still staying at their place. So Baka told me not to worry. This is what he told me. I've been in this country for a long time. Do you know how hard it is to even get an interview? I can put my hand on my chest and tell you that of all the international students here, you are part of the few people that even get interviews. So don't be worried about you not getting the
Job offer.
yes. Just think about it this way, that it's a platform for you to now learn how the interview process goes. Because actually looking for internship and looking for a job, it's a full-time job on its own. I'm telling you, it's a full-time job on its own. And if it can be very frustrating, I'm telling you, very
Yeah,
frustrating
yeah.
and very depressing. So I was like, okay, when I realized, like, when that happened, we had that conversation, I realized that okay, then it means I can actually work. Initially, when I was coming, my plan was to come in and then finish the masters and do a PhD.
Okay.
That was the initial plan I came from Ghana with. For me, I wanted to do a PhD, a PhD, a PhD. So when I got in and then this interview happened, now my focus changed. I was like, it's possible I can get an internship. Why am I want to go to school? And now, to mind you, when I got to a whole lot of things you have to pay again. So I was now stressing, managing between work and then school. It was stressful, and I wasn't focusing that much on school as I would have loved to because of the responsibilities you have, not just back home, but on yourself there to cover some expenses and stuff like that. So it was hard for me, super hard. And I was like, okay, this application thing, we go do one. Guy, I don't see. There are some. Well, I remember one time I was applying to a company. That was like 2 years down the line in my final semester, so whatsoever. And then I went to apply. When I went there, I had seen two different applications from
Mm.
previous applications I've submitted that I don't even remember of that same company. And
Company.
yes, and I was about submitting another one. It's a summer 2023 application. Fall this in application. This is application. I was like, wow. I just kept submitting. I just kept submitting because I don't lose this is my philosophy. I don't lose anything if you don't get back to me, but I lose everything if I should have been great. Like you should have reach out to me and my application wasn't before you.
Mm.
So for me, just submit it. But the mistake too was that initially I was just submitting one CV for all. Like I had one CV and I was submitting that same CV for everything.
For
So that
everything.
so that 4 applications for a day that I was talking about, it was one CV being pushed to like 4 companies. Apply, apply, just apply, just applying anyhow. Then I met Dr. Ya's husband, Patrick. And then Patrick said, bro, the initial phase of for the most, but nobody has time to go through thousands of resumes.
CVs.
Nobody has that time. It's algorithms that are doing it. And so for the first phase, for you to even pass the first phase, to even get the opportunity to go and even do preliminary whatever for interview, it's a computer algorithm. So your best bet is for you to actually go through the responsibilities side. And then whatever responsibilities they've written, there are keywords in it. Make sure that keyword is in your resume. So that if the algorithm is passed, your CV passes through the algorithm it's NLP. It is just checking for some
Those
keywords,
keyboards. Yeah.
skills, and then that's all. Nobody's reading all those until they have your this thing in front of them. So that was what I was doing. Then I changed the strategy. So this is like 1 year down the line when I had applied to only God knows, and I've heard nothing. So when I changed the strategy, I started getting follow-ups.
Mm.
So yeah, I started getting not interviews but follow-ups. Because for data science, most some of the time, not most, but some of the times, and because mind you, we're still in COVID-ish. COVID was still an ish during that time. So they will send this thing for you to sign up, do some analysis or something like that, and submit. So I was getting those ones, but I wasn't going past that stage for the most
Yeah.
part. But for me, I was glad because now I know I have passed that phase. I've passed the phase of I'm not getting interviews. I'm not getting this. I've passed that phase. Now I'm in the phase of okay, I'm getting a follow up, but I'm not getting the interview. So
Mm.
how do I move from here and get here? That's when I reached out to Desmond. I reached out to Emmanuel, my friend Emmanuel, who works at Nationwide, And he's like, okay, let's run it this way, do it that way, do it this way, da 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 da. Okay, call me, yeah. Then I submit. I submit and I submit. Still not getting anything, no problem. Kept submitting. Then I did one and submitted. When I did it and submitted, I was like, oh, this thing I've done, that's what I'm saying. It can be very depressing, very demoralizing. I'm telling you. Sometimes you submit your application, you will not close your laptop. Then you will not even close your laptop, and you get a love letter. Then in your mind, how did they even?
Sorry, let me explain, because you're saying love letter. People might
Oh,
understand. So love letter means a rejection letter. Yeah, that's the way we call it.
and the reason why we call it love letter is the way
So
they
if a
start
school, if this company is now reach back to you and say, "Thank you for applying. Unfortunately, blah blah blah." That's what we call the love letter. Go
So
ahead.
for me, I became so polarized with this love letters that the moment I see any thank you, I don't read. Once I see thank you, I don't read unless I see congratulations. Thank you, I won't read it. I won't waste my time. 9.5 out of 10 times that thank you is a rejection letter. But
Yeah.
I've seen a case where a friend's thank you was actually like an interview. So don't say you saw thank you. No. Please read it. I'm saying I was frustrated. That's why I wasn't reading it exactly. So then it moved from there, and I did this. I got this message from Gap. I mean, look, it's funny. Look at I'm wearing their shirt. It's so
Yep.
funny. It's so funny. Wow. How did I
Nice.
even wear this shirt? This hoodie. I'm wearing their hoodie.
You didn't even pre-plan it.
No, I don't
Nice.
remember planning this. It was when like we were talking and it crossed my head and then I saw it. So they reached out to me and then it was like, okay, I should pick a date for an interview.
Okay.
Guy, the interview was live coding. Guy, no joke. No joke. I had to find ways to run this because it wasn't easy for me. It wasn't easy. You know, it's one thing. It's one thing giving a task to do, right? When you are giving, easy fit a model that will be help us predict that the number of people that will watch this streaming will be 40% of those that saw the link. You can write down. You go and sit down. You think
about it. Yes.
yes. But when someone is sharing, say share your screen. You share your screen. Go to this website. Then you go log in. You log in. Okay. The problem is that we want to predict this thing, right? In the heat of it, I'm like, what does he want me to do? Like, I couldn't. It was hard. But God's grace, shall we run them? No. We didn't come here we didn't get that far to go behind. We run them, guy. I know you know what I'm talking about. We run them, sha. And it was okay. Then they reached out to me and told me that they are sorry. They can't listen because okay, sorry. Before this, they are sorry. Let me backtrack it. Now, one thing that was killing me was that you see, in every application they'll ask you, do you want
We like to be
sponsor? Guy, I always said no.
Let me explain for people that because there are so many linguals in this our industry. So when you're applying for jobs, it could be internships, it could be jobs after your studies. There's always this question about, would you like to be sponsored? There's a way they say it, but that's this thing. Would you like to be sponsored? And what that means is, do you want them to take you from OPT to H-1B visa? Yes, you want them to fill in an application for you as the company. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and for the most part, if your answer is yes, my guy, forget about it. It's sometimes hard to get it. So this same guy, Dr. Patrick, was the one who told me like there are some of them, those that you feel like the qualification is not this and you can. Guy, it's an internship you want. You just want to have that on your resume that I have done this internship. And that opened doors to others that I'll talk about my second internship because of this first internship that I did.
Right.
So I put no. So this woman initially they bounced me. This is very funny. After the first phase, they bounced me and told me they can't. Then I was there. Then I got an email from this lady, Esther Chan. She's like, "Blessing, I know we bounced you first one, but that's what I'm saying. It's all by God's grace. But would you be open for an interview? Let me know. But before that, can you answer these questions for me? Would you need a sponsorship? Me, Blessing, I never will need any sponsorship. God forgive me. It's a big lie. God forgive me. But I won't need any sponsorship. Don't come and sponsorship me over here."
Right.
So yeah, and then so she went on, and then I had but this lie I told. Remember, I'll tell you, it bit me back and I nearly cried about it. So we'll talk about that too. So when I did the interview with them, blah blah blah, then I had the internship and all that. About 11,000 people applied for that internship. Only 80 people were chosen, and I'm part of the 80. And that is
11,000.
oh guy, no joke.
No.
11,000. I mean, I'm talking about the entire cohort for interns, not just for the data science. We're only 8, and it was 8 out of only God knows how many hundreds that applied. So yeah, then I had that one too. Then we started the internship. Guy, you remember we had this conversation I think 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago when we met in BG a month ago about industry having domain knowledge.
Yes.
Domain knowledge is like in my domain knowledge, you can know the data science stuff, you can know the algorithm, but domain knowledge, you cry because you don't know the domain knowledge, and you'll be saying things you don't have to say. And so it's retail. Gap is about clothing, and then they do clothes, so it's about retail stuff. So
there are so many things that you have to learn.
boy, and I didn't understand. I was trying my best to understand. It wasn't easy. You would think it is just sales. It's not just. It's a lot. And you have just 3 months to do this. Wrapping your head around these things and then fit a model. So I mean, at the end of the day, you do the project and then submit and then present, but you really don't kind of. And mind you, retail is not something like I'm super into. If it was to be anything finance, it would have been great because like I was more into the finance side of things coming from Ghana as compared to the thing. So it was at the end of the interview and internship that all the 7 guys in the data science places, they all got jobs. And I was sitting down, waiting. Then they shoot me an email. They want to have a one-on-one with me. Then the lady is like, I remember you said, I've seen on your resume you are from Ghana. Would you need sponsorship? Because now we want to move to full time, and we only take people who would be guy. At this point, I can't like at this point my hand is tied. You can't say no. I was like, I started saying story. I have OPT for 3 years. We know you have OPT for 3 years, but would you need sponsorship after that 3 years? I said no, I'll need it. They said okay, thank you. We'll get back to you. We'll talk about it. And they called me back and told me that there will always be a spot for me within like some months if I have my papers, but if I don't, they are sorry, they can't continue. Guy, like, I don't want to mention the amount, but we are talking in the high end of 120 plus.
Wow.
Guy, there's one thing that has really broken me down in my life. One thing has happened to me that has really broke me down. I'm still recovering from it. But it's so sad that thing happened when this thing was also happening. I was lost. I was lost in my head. After all the struggles, after all the interviews, I was so lost in my head. But you can't show it, and I laugh a lot, so it's hard for if you're not that close, and I don't tell you, you will never see it. That's my way of dealing with things. But pray to God about it and all that. But it was really a hard time for me. 2022 was a very hard time for me. Then out of that internship, I told myself back to plan A, go back to school. So that nobody
A and the plan B.
Oh yeah.
Plan B was to get the job. Okay, now I can do OPT so I can stay back and work after my master's. Then the plan A, which was the initial plan, was now get a PhD.
And I always tell people, if you don't have your green card yet, you shouldn't be in this America. If you're on F1, you cannot be in America with just one plan. You have to have like 3 plans, like 3 outlets, 3 plans, minimum 3. Because the point is, see, God loves all of us. So you are not the most special. God loves all of us. We all pray to God. We are all praying to God. So don't say, for me, I know God loves me. God loves you. It's only one person I know, and it's a mutual friend that has focused purely. I think he'll be coming on the podcast next week or so. He focused purely on one thing, and he made it. And even that, if he will tell the story, so I don't want to take away his. When he starts telling the story, you realize the deeper things he's done to even get to those, for him to even focus on that drama. Even that one, at a point, he wanted to even add a plan to it. So you can't be in this America on F1 and have like a one plan thing. Yeah, you cannot. So
going the job route is a plan. Going back to school is another plan.
Marrying is another plan. I'll say it here.
Finding true love, please.
Yes. No, don't do that to somebody's sister or somebody's brother. Finding true love is another plan. So you start early. start early. What if that's part of your plan? You start early. Don't wait till one semester. You're not going to end. Yeah, I say you're not. Please, back to. Sorry, that's just by the way.
Yeah. So
So,
let's now go back to your plan A
so
of
yes, going back to school. So
school.
now it's like no company will break my heart like this again. I'm going back to school. So then, just after that summer, I started early, and that was a game changer for me.
Mm.
I started reaching out. That same August, I was reaching August where school no start. I was reaching out to professors across different schools. In the end, I applied to 9 schools. I got into 3. One
9
was
schools for
oh
your
yeah,
PhD.
oh yeah, bro. And as I said, mind you, in my undergrad days, when I was coming for the masters, I told you I didn't have that much information, so I paid literally for all the schools. About 90% of the schools I applied to when I was coming in, I paid for with my hard-earned money that I
Mm.
didn't have. I paid for.
Application fee and
Yes,
conversion rate.
yes, I paid for. But
Yikes.
this time, I told myself, I'm not paying a dime for my PhD application. I'm not paying a dime. The only school that disappointed me was your school, because for them, they don't do fee
Yeah.
waiver.
Yeah.
Even
Even
if,
I also
even
have.
yes, even if you whoever you are, you will pay. So for that time, but the other 8 schools, I didn't pay a dime. And
Mm.
it was because I was attending seminars. I was reaching out to graduate coordinators, reaching out to they have this international, no, not international school, graduate admission, something, reaching out to like every corner, however it will be. So Bowling Green, Clemson, Michigan State, Carnegie Mellon, New York University, Stevens Institute of Technology. That's 6. Which school haven't I mentioned again? I think there are some neutral schools we apply. Kennesaw State 7. IUPUI, Indianapolis 8.
Okay.
What's the ninth school? I can't remember on top of my head. God, I can't remember on top of my head. I wanted to do 10, but I was like, I'm stressing. I'm stressing Ram and those people to do my recommendation.
Yeah, you recommend that. You also have to
Yeah,
think
yeah.
because they're going to write recommendation for you 9
So
times.
yeah, yeah. I mean, my advisor, he told me if I want to apply to 30 billion schools, he will submit all the 30 billion for me because I was his thesis student. So like, and so that also influenced my choice to do thesis. When I got that broken heart from the company, I was like, now okay, I'm going to do thesis because
PhD.
initially, yes, because initially I was considering doing qualifying exam and then go, but I was like, you know what? Let me make my case because I don't want to write GRE again. So let me do thesis because most students won't do thesis in their masters. So now let me add
Let me help clarify. Let me help clarify so that it doesn't go over people's heads. So in a lot of master's programs here in the US, there are like several options. There's the one of you we do the coursework and then you write comprehensive exam or qualifying exam, even at master's level. Then there's thesis. So you don't write that exam, you now do a research. Then there are some programs that you have the option of doing capstone project. So usually you must do something in addition, sorry, to the coursework that you are doing. Yeah, so that's what Blessing is now telling us about, that he initially was going to do the exam. We could just sit for the exam once, but then thesis takes a while to write. But since he reverted back to his plan A, which is to go back to school, he now decided that the thesis option was better. So yeah, you can go ahead.
yeah. So then I did my thesis and defended it and everything. So then I submitted my applications. So now when I submitted my applications, they did this job fair. So now mind you, I've told myself there's no way I'm going to search for a job. I'm not trying it. So since that time, I never applied for any internship again because my focus all was now going to school. I don't want any problem, any broken heart again. No, I don't. So it's very painful, bro. It's very painful. I don't know. I can't imagine how I can explain it, but it's very painful. Then when I came, there was this graduate fair, something they do, the job fair
Mm.
that DG does most of the time. Then I was like,
Universities do career fair where they
yeah.
bring in companies.
So I was like, I wasn't going to do it. I'm not going. It's not part of my plans. Then is that Wisdom Man or Evans? Someone like that was, no, Ruben. I don't know who the person was, but one of the guys were like, bro, you don't lose anything. No. My own mentality, I forgot it, but someone had to remind me of it. You don't lose anything by saying this thing. We are not going to even this thing. Just go and share. Go and distribute your resume and then get souvenirs. They say there are bags, there are things. Get those things like so. I said, okay, let's go. And then that day too, they were going to take professional pictures. So if it's I have to even update that picture on LinkedIn. That's my picture. That's the picture I took that day. So when I went and I just distributed, I wasn't even interested in talking to anybody. Bro, two companies reached out for an interview.
Oh,
So yes, I think with two insurance companies, one mortgage, one insurance. Central Insurance something. It's in Ohio, but like there's some part of Ohio. It's Akron there, but yeah. So I interviewed with them. Mind you, at this point, my mind is I'm going to school, but I'm just trying to get internship for the summer so that I would get some money because
during
I
the
didn't
summer
want.
or
Yes.
you start.
Then I was there, and then Rocket Mortgage called me. Was like, "Hey, this blessing? Me now. Do you want this? I'm like, eh, interview me, interview me. So then I went for the interview, did the interview. I did two interviews actually. I did one phone interview, three actually, two phone interview calls, and then one Zoom interview. And then I got the internship. Now when I started in Detroit, so I had to move from BG to Detroit to do the internship. That plays to another issue with mortgage. Ghana, who does mortgage in Ghana? Like it's a rare thing that comes. So the idea of even the retail one that I was saying about domain knowledge, that was even better because at least it's clothes. You wear clothes all the time, so you can relate. Boy, with this mortgage thing, it's like a different world altogether. And
Oh,
because I'm not
entirely,
from
yeah.
here, yeah, because I'm not from here, understanding the mortgage in itself, it's even a problem because I didn't
Mm.
understand a lot. So, but I mean, God's grace, I learned a lot. I moved on and all that. So, in the process of the internship, there was this seminar they did that we had to attend, and we attended. And then they were talking to people who are not like internationals and their policy, the company's policy for international. Let me go and hear they filed for H1B for every international student. One, that is one. If you win and you spend a year with them, they file for green card. I'm like, Omo,
Oh, oh,
what is going on here? Am I going back to my broken heart story or not? So I was like, and at that time, thankfully to God, I had already had an interview for Clemson, had attended the interview and had the admission for my PhD here in Clemson.
okay,
So as I
okay,
said, I got into Clemson, I got into Michigan State biostatistics, and I got into Bowling Green data science. Bowling Green, I was supposed to go meet
okay,
um, someone for funding, but by that time I already gotten Clemson and then Michigan State. Michigan State too, I was supposed to go meet someone, but Michigan State was a much more smoother process than
Brilliant.
Clemson was like, this is it, this is the offer for this, da, 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 da. I was like, okay, so why would I worry? Because I had struggled with financial stuff regarding masters, so I wasn't ready to even
You didn't
think
have to
about it.
write. You didn't have to write the GRE again.
Guy, pick your battle, pick and choose your battle. And surprisingly, the schools that required GRE, I never got into any of them.
Mm.
So what I did was I submitted that whack score of mine and submitted it like that, and I took the leap of faith and I cast the net, and then I caught three fish, actually. So yeah.
And so the fishes were fully funded.
Yes, yes. So now I started the internship. I started this internship with an offer from Clemson already.
Okay.
So I had that plan A, my original plan A secured already. This plan was to just get money, clear some debts that you have, pay people that you kind of owe here and there, and then try and then reason life.
Mm.
So when I now came to hear about this, they file and all those things, I was like, oh, Mo, let me take this serious. So I was like, fine, putting in the work, doing what I can do, learning. It was a learning, and I learned a lot about myself than about the work itself because I learned how like my coding skills were bad, how I used to code was bad, that I need to reorient the way I look at. Yes, yes. And it was through my mentor's interaction. That was when I realized like I wasn't doing, even though I'll produce results, but it wasn't like efficient. I'm still not efficient, but I'm a bit better than I was during that time. So during that period, like okay, then it's likely that man will get. And one thing that we heard was that they actually almost always retain their interns.
Intense.
So
Mm.
I was like, oh, then this one, the Clemson will die. Oh, this, bye bye, you don't cry, you go. I was like, I was so happy, bro. A month to the end of the internship, The company was downsizing.
Oh. Oh.
So you see why you never put or you never have one plan. You just cannot have one plan. You just cannot. And when that happened, I was like, Omo, it don't pay me, but it wouldn't pay me that much because I have some
You already have your Clemson offer down.
waiting for me. So, and I pack my things. I pick car. I drive. I'm off to South Carolina because I'm going. I don't want any wahala. So they were downsizing, and even your mentor didn't.
Means that they were like laying off staffs.
Yeah, and that was during during that time. Tech wasn't doing well. Google during that period, Google can fire like 1,000.
Yeah, several of the giants were downsizing a lot.
It was very crazy because I think what happened was that during the COVID, they brought in a lot of people because there was a lot of demand because a lot of people were home.
Okay.
There was a lot of demand. But now that the restrictions were going back to normalcy, the demand is now shrinking, but the workforce is high. So now they have to just peel off. And the person you are under, your mentor even doesn't know whether she will be staying or not. So I couldn't even think of initiating the conversation of, I'm telling you, the Monday, it was announced on a Friday. The Monday that I walked into the office, bro, it was like a drop of even if you drop a pin like this, you hear the pin.
Right. All right.
Because everybody was quiet. Nobody was talking to nobody. Because nobody knew whether they were staying or going. Very quiet. Very, very traumatizing experience. I was like, for me, in my head, it became clearer that I have to go back to school. It became clearer that I have to go. Then I came to Clemson, and it's been a year and a half now. I'm in my second year. I'm hoping that things kick on going as it is. It's not easy for this. Oh God, it's been tough, really challenging. Like you barely sleep, and you have other family responsibilities too. But it's for me, it's the light at the end of the tunnel I'm looking at. So I don't complain. I laugh. I go play soccer. I go gym. I'm out of here. So yeah, basically. So that has been the journey up until this time. If there are further things you want me to talk about, that'll be great.
There's been a lot that we've covered today. I think this is my longest podcast so far.
Because I'm special.
Because you have a lot of stories, really. And yeah, thank you really for sharing. Before we get to the chat to go through questions, I just want to ask you now, reflecting, looking back, based on your experiences so far, you've seen all the whole process you had to come through, 3 years to find a school, visa interview, how you got scholarship, how you got internships, and several internships, even twice. Now you're doing a PhD. Would you recommend anyone watching us now to come over to the US, to consider coming over, to consider studying here?
All right. So I'm talking to you, Blessing, of 2019, 2018, 2015, whatever. I'm talking to you, Blessing. Listen, you had it all wrong at that time. You thought it wasn't possible. It was possible, and it is possible. And whatever your situation is, I'm just saying to you, just don't give up yet. It's worth it. And I would come back 10 billion times. I'll come back, read my lips 10 billion times. Not because things are okay now. Because like I'm earning. No, I'm a student. I don't earn that much. All I earn is stipend to pay my rent and take care of myself. That's all I earn. But all I'm saying is that I would advise myself to be here 10 billion times. I've not been to any other country to study, and I don't know how it is over there, but I can only talk of my experience here, which I've shared extensively.
Yeah.
It is doable. It is doable. If you think you have your GPA is not good, you think your this is not good, find a way and gradually augment it. You can start working, get a job, something that relates to what you want to do, build up a profile, let that profile sound great, connect to people. God blesses everybody through people, and so connect to people. I remember before I had my interview for my PhD stuff, Zubi was the one I contacted. Why? Because all the schools I kind of got interviews into, he had already applied and also got interviews into those schools. So why would I not contact him? So connect with people, connect. And people's experience will never be your exact experience. Never forget that. So don't say that somebody had 3 plants, so you must have only 3 plants. Somebody had 2 plants. No, fit your story inside yourself, but listen to people and let's connect to people. I'll advise myself to come here 10 billion times all the time. But at the end of the day, man will have to go home.
That's reflecting right. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Blessing. It's been a wonderful time. Really, it's been a wonderful time.
I didn't think I would enjoy it this much, but reflecting on the story is even very much. It's even funnier than I thought it would be. It's very fun.
Yeah, it was a really wonderful time. Let's go through the chat and see what people are saying. Okay, Lee said that she's waiting because this year I received my American F1 visa in Jesus' name. Amen. We are also praying for you, Liz. Okay, so Lee says, please also talk about business programs that I can apply and get scholarships, including which schools have high acceptance rates. Thank you. So the universities that you applied for, listen, for PhD, I believe they have business programs. So if you can help us run through that list again of the 8 schools that you can remember
Okay.
you applied to.
So before that, I just want to say this: that business programs kind of follow a very different way of admission and funding as opposed to your regular programs, because
Mm.
they are business programs. Some of them don't, like for the masters especially, some of them don't have like funding as compared to other programs, even though they get the biggest money. So for masters fund, but for PhD it's kind of similar, but you'd have to reach out and all that. So the schools are Clemson University, where I'm at in South Carolina,
Mm.
um, Bowling Green State University, um, Michigan State University, Carnegie Mellon, um, IUPUI, Kennesaw State, Stevens Institute of Technology, New York, NYU.
Okay, New York
Uh,
University.
yeah, New York University, NYU. Yeah, I think these are.
Okay, okay.
I don't know why I don't remember the ninth one, but yeah.
That's fine. Thank you.
And I
Okay.
applied to. Most of the schools I applied to are data science or statistics or biostatistics programs. So just to send that across for the PhD.
Okay, so this is Kofi from Ghana. We are greeting you, Kofi from Ghana. Veronica also watching from Ghana. Wonderful. Benedict watching from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for joining in. Anika from Bangladesh. Oh, nice. Thank you. Then MX said, if Emily could do it, I can do it. Right. That was the motivation. Yeah. So Veronica says, talking about GRE, why is it like writing GRE in Ghana? Preparation to exam day.
So I learned. I didn't do it in a silo. Like I wasn't alone learning. As I said, at each point you need to do it with people, and that's why I would always encourage those who are in school now to write their GRE whilst they are in school. Pick up clicks and learn and write whilst you're in school, because it's much more easier, because you are hot, your head hot at that time. But in
Wow,
Ghana,
that's a good perspective. Oh.
oh yeah, because once you're out of school, it's a whole lot. It's a whole
Yeah.
lot. But do it whilst you're, because there are other programs like those who are doing actuarial science like this. They write their professional exams whilst they are in school. So
Mm.
think of the GRE as though you are writing the professional exams, and in your fourth year, one of the breaks, go write it, but be preparing for it. Because mind you, almost all the things you are learning in school, it's kind of around that area, so you could write it and then it will be okay. And learning groups. So that's my learning groups. That's how I prepared. I had I had a host of people I prepared with. Um, I'm not alone. If I mention the names now, it will go and go and go and go. And at some point, I even joined a class to be taught the GRE actually. So
Okay.
because it's more about the way the questions are phrased than the question itself.
Mm.
It's more about reasoning than like solve a problem. So I just needed, because I was novice to it, I just needed someone to guide me reason through stuff, and that was how I learned it. I learned in a group. And if when going to write, you have the date you write and all that. You go there, they will take everything from you. You don't. It's like a computer lab kind of thing. You
Yeah.
enter, they take everything from you. They give you a pencil and a sheet of paper, and then you go sit down. You write. When you are done, if you have your code, the code for the school,
Yeah, you now give them
yeah,
the code.
you give them the code, and then they submit your results to that schools. If you don't do that, you pay $35. I don't know how much it costs now. If you don't do that, you pay
Did you write paper based or computer based, Jerry?
no computer based.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
the sheet of paper they give you is for like rough work.
Okay. Yes.
And
Yeah.
once you are done with the exam, they tear it in front of you. It's as if I don't know. They just say,
Okay. Yeah. So Emmy says she's watching from Rwanda. Hi, Emmy. Light watching from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for joining. Amma from Abuja, Nigeria. Thank you for joining. Nana watching from Ghana. And Hifi says, I'm also just getting into this just because my friend also traveled to USA yesterday.
exactly.
This is really a great motivation, honestly.
Sometimes it comes from the unlikely source.
Yeah.
The motivation will come from an unlikely source, like someone you are so close to, someone you are just friends with, that you share food, you talk about life, and they didn't also have it in their mind to travel. This ML guy I'm talking about, his elder brother is in the States. So his elder brother kind of forced him to even go write that GRE. He didn't even want to do it. And so then when it happened and then he's gone, I'm like, bro.
I need to go to.
Emil Agbemade is going, and I'm his friend, and he was actually persistent about it. That bro, you've got to try this. You've got to try this because he likes the idea of growing up with like climbing with people that you kind of started with. So yeah, Emil, top guy. He's sitting down with his PhD. Hopefully, I'm able to make it for his graduation. I'm hoping it will be a suitable time for me to go. Yeah.
Oh, hopefully. Thank you, Blessing, for this tip, Veronica, was sharing. Then I think there's a question here. Does the GA given by your department have an interview?
I've never been, aside for the PhD that I interviewed for. I wasn't interviewed for departmental, like the ASO, Applied Sciences and Operations Research Department. I didn't get, I didn't interview, yeah, I didn't interview for it, but I interviewed for the assistantship that was in a different office. That's Office of Academic Assessment. That's different. So I interviewed for that one, but so for the most part, when you submit an application, sometimes they will ask you whether you want to be considered for funding or not. Once we always click yes. So once you click yes, once you click yes, you are kind of considered. Once you are admitted, you are considered for funding. So your profile will be looked at and all that. But some every school and how.
Yes, exactly. Every school has the way they do, because the Applied Statistics program here in my own school, Masters, they do interview.
Bro, have I to okay, I didn't tell you that story. I applied to that school too. When I came and I realized I had like the out of state stuff to pay for, I was like, no, I'm leaving. And at that time, Oko had also left to Kennesaw. So I applied to Kennesaw whilst I was in BG to leave BG to go to Kennesaw.
Wow.
So, but what happened was that
it was even your first semester in BG.
Yeah, I wanted to leave. I wanted to leave because I was like, no, I can't break my head with this money issue. So when I applied, I first of all got admission from Delgazi or Del something. I got the admission. Then when I got the admission, he said that they will be sending me a list of places to apply for GAs for. I was like, okay. Then the first one came in, but that first one was directed to my Outlook email. So I saw it and I applied for it. I interviewed for it, but I didn't get it.
Okay.
Since then, I never heard from anybody again. I didn't understand. So the summer was over. Now a new semester is beginning. Now this man has emailed me, he's asking me that now fall is about to start in my second semester, which is fall of 2021. He's like, will you be joining us this semester? I was like, oh, you didn't send me any list. So he said, I sent you a list of this things to apply to. This didn't you receive that email? I was like, no. I was like, well, let me go and check all those my old emails, bro. An old email, my UCC email, I have not opened in only God knows how long. Come and see list of offices that wanted students from the MSA program that I should apply for. About 4 or 5 of them. I was so angry because I missed out on. By the time I tried to reach out, all of them have been filled. All of them have been. So
your UCC email.
Yes.
Wow.
And I don't know how they got my UCC email because I don't remember using that UCC email as part of my application. Up to now, I try to connect the dots and I can't understand how. But it is what it is. God's grace be found me and I'm here. So we can't complain.
Okay, so this, Veronica, in other words, this depends on the program and the departments. Bowling Green, they don't, for example, apply statistics, but Kennesaw State University, they do for the applied statistics, yes, and so it just depends on the program. Chinimerium says hilarious and enlightening. Chibuzo says watching from Delta, Nigeria. Veronica, God is God and he remains the same forever. Wonderful.
Amen.
Priska is saying great conversation. Jerry is saying great story. Priscilla says kindly add a glossary for traveling abroad to study terms. Yes, there are several terms. That's why I have to be stopping to explain. Yeah, because now you'll be here for how many years?
Almost 5 years.
Then, yeah, these words are normal to you, but people that are not here, they won't really understand them.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think Heavy Light is no longer free. I think this is for the Coursera courses.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, there are probably still ways to get around it, honestly.
I think you cannot, if you go to the program, they have something they call something assistantship thing. Like if you need financial assistance, you can write to them.
Financial aid, yes, in all Coursera stuff, yeah.
So you can try that.
Okay, Christabel is saying this guy is funny. Yeah. Solomon Afi, blessing, shout out to you, my guy. So having shout outs here. Ismail is saying, how can we get assistantship offer? Should we email the professors? Can we get for spring intake? Yeah, you came in spring. So I guess the story that you shared now is really just how to get assistantship in spring. You can look beyond the department to other available positions that are being offered on campus, available grad assistantship positions. We showed some of them over here and then also apply to them as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say this, sometimes for the most part, about 80% of the funds they give are in fall, right? But here's the catch. Not everybody comes during the fall. Mind you, I told you I had to defer mine to the spring. I was lucky my assistantship was held for me till the spring. In some cases, they squash it, especially if it's in the department. They squash it, but they hold the money till the spring. So what you could do is that if you don't get the funding in fall, don't give up whatsoever. All you could do is that focus on the spring, because there are people who would get the funding and wouldn't also come. And this is another one that I never knew. You can actually travel without funding. Never forget. It is not easy. It is never going to be easy for you, but you can do it. And this is the gig that I know people use. They come in the fall, right? There are two ways about this. They come in the fall because they know that during the spring, there are people who wouldn't be able to come. So if he comes and there's somebody who didn't come, then they give that money to you.
They'll give you, they just give you the assistantship.
So you can have that leap of faith and then go through the process, but it could be waste of money if you don't get the visa. It could be waste of money. So that's the other side of it. The other side is that sometimes you come in the spring, right? When you come in the spring, you have a whole summer of 3 months. 3 months. You have 3 months. It's not like there's fall that you only have 3 weeks. Then spring. After spring semester,
fall and spring semester, 3 weeks. December break.
Yes, but from spring to fall, it's 3 months.
3 months, yes.
And within that 3 months, God knows what you can do. And so because you leave a good mark during the first spring semester, now when they are sharing the funds, they will actually consider you before they even consider new applicants.
Okay.
So what I'm saying, everybody and how they get to come and everything, but
different routes.
Yeah, different routes. But just pray about it. Look for that which fits you. And if you want to take the leap of faith, I'm with you. Take the leap of faith, because there are too many. I cannot count the number of people I can't in my head. I can't count the number of people that came here without funding. I can't count the number of people that came here without funding. Too many people. Just too many.
I know several
Just
actually.
too many. And that's what I was saying, that I also didn't know about all this in the past. Because if I had known, I'm like I jacked a long time and then came, and then when I come, I'll figure it out. But it's all good. Try as much as possible to get the funding. Try as much as possible to get it.
The catch of being able to come here without funding is that number one, you need a bank statement.
Huge one.
All that money. That's number one. They're like things that are on you if you come here without funding. That's number one. Number two, you need to be able to defend it in the visa interview.
Yep.
Yes. And then number three, that first semester fees you paid.
Yes.
That first semester fees you paid.
So that is why it's okay if you want to go that route. It's okay to come in the spring, because when you come in the spring, they'll be billing you, and there'll be interest on it. Not huge interest, but like small interest on it. But you have up until the next semester to clear the previous debt to be able to register for the next semester. And so you have a whole 3 months. Don't listen to me, but listen to me.
This is for Bowling Green. No, this is for Bowling Green. This
is for Bowling Green. Don't try
to. In case you once, I think it's like the first 1 or 2 weeks. If you've not paid, they'll drop your classes.
God.
You don't have those things building up, feeding. Yeah. They'll drop those classes that you registered.
I mean, so please, I employ. If you are in that situation, I employ you to go to Bowling Green State University. And also, please listen. If you come without funding and you are in a school and you don't have funding, please, you are the school. You don't owe the school to stay in the school. If it is possible, look for other schools that will give you funding and leave. Nothing will happen to you. You are already in the States. So some coordinators will be like, okay, he's already here. We don't have to like do any. So I'm saying, once you are in a place you don't have funding and you are in, say, Bowling Green State University, you don't have funding. Look for other options. Look for Kennesaw. Look for Clemson. Look for Michigan. Look for this and apply to those schools as well. Hopefully, one of those schools will be okay, and then you move from the school you are and go to the other school. Guy, you are here to learn. It's not that university is not like university is university. Don't tie yourself and struggle when you can actually. So that option is also there. So try that option as well.
Okay, thank you. That was really extensive. Jolly is saying thank you. Christabel, thank you. Wish you luck on your PhD.
I need that.
Rollins is saying Blessing is the kind of person you want to be around. Yeah, nice. It really is. Thank you, Blessing and Newsway. It's been a wonderful session. Thank you. Jerry says, apart from PhD, what other plan B would you have explored?
Oh, you know the job now. That was my other plan. So my plan was to go to school, right? Either go to school or
get a job.
Those were my two main plans. The third plan I would have because of my situation, because I had someone already in my life. There was no way I was going to explore it, was to get married to someone. So that was like out of it wasn't a plan for me because there was someone already in the picture and there was no need for me to do. If someone did that to my sister, actually I'll be peeved. So I wouldn't be actually. So
right.
I wouldn't think of doing things to someone's sister. So yeah, that's why. So those were the two main plans I had, but yeah.
Okay, so what some people have like go back to school and they divide that go back to school into multiple plans. Getting a PhD, plan A, plan B, getting another master's.
Yes.
And then plan C, now getting a job.
Yes.
Because everyone have been here for years and they've just been doing several masters.
Masters, yes. And it's not because they just want to do their masters. It's not because they just want to do their masters. They buy time, basically. They're just using that masters to buy time. So they'll do the barest minimum and be passing those classes, but will be focused on the in the job search or in the PhD hands. Because the PhD is it's not easy. I just realized recently that my cohort, over 100 and something people applied. We are only 3. Guy, I nearly got imposter syndrome.
Wow. Yeah, so talking about that, Christabel is asking, I think you just give this response briefly because of time.
Okay.
How can someone process for PhD from outside the US? Is it possible? And how can we look up for positions? Is it possible? We are both here
Yes.
doing PhD,
Yes.
right? So, how can someone process this from outside the US?
I think it's the same process as I would do. Reach out to coordinators, reach out to program directors, go to the school's website. The program you are looking out for, go to their website. They will have labs registered, like labs like on their website. And then you reach out to the director of that lab, say, hey, I'm interested. This is my resume. This is my CV. This is my transcript. Always add your transcript. Always add your resume to the email you are sending to him. I would want to work with you. Do you da da da? Okay. And then sometimes you reach out to the coordinator as well. I want to apply for ABCD. Can you sort me out? Can I this? Oh, and then based on that feedback, you go back and forth. There are so many students here who came in for the PhD. Isaac came in from Korea. Bright came in from China. Cosmos came in from Ghana. And I know others too who came in from Nigeria in Clemson here. So
Yeah,
there are several people who came from other
from outside the
The
US.
application process is just the same. The only difference is that because I am here, probably I'll be able to quickly reach out to someone, or if I want to call, I can call or stuff like that. But aside that, the process is virtually like the same for everybody. If it's interview, you will do the interview.
Okay, Mentoring 101 is watching live from Lome, Togo. We are greeting Togo. Aaron inspires. Great job, Nzube. God bless you for the motivation. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron is also a YouTuber on this whole study.
Oh, nice. Kudos, Aaron.
Kofi said, you have really inspired me. Thanks. You have really inspired me.
I'm also called Kofi, so.
Nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If people want to, this is the longest podcast ever, really.
Yeah, because I'm talking, so.
So how can people find you?
On LinkedIn, just search Blessing Torsu, my name. It's right there. I barely go to Facebook. I don't know why. I don't go to Facebook. So LinkedIn is the surest place.
Yeah,
the LinkedIn will be the surest place probably to connect. And please, when you reach out to me, just, hey, my name is so and so. I took your this thing from so and so. I want to ask ABCD. You get people saying hi. I'm like,
and they just leave it. They don't just greet and leave.
I used to do that when I was in Ghana too. So I came here and I realized it was super, super, super unprofessional and super, super not good to do. So just introduce yourself, probably how you got my number. I don't need to know, but you could add that to it. That makes it easier for me to even relay, because if I know Zubi give you my number, it's like Zubi is my guy, so then you are also my guy, or my sister or something like that. Yeah, so.
Thank you so much, Blessing.
Thank you for having me.
This has been a very wonderful session.
And I'm sorry for being long.
No, why do you have to apologize for giving value? Like, this has been so much value, actually. Thank you, and thank you everyone that's joined us today. Thank you everyone that joined us today. Thank you for joining us on the USA Playbook Podcast. Till we see you again next Saturday, please keep pursuing your dreams of living a better life. You and your family deserve the best. It's possible. Yes, it's possible. And if you've not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button down below. Till we see you again next week. Bye.